Welcome to today's episode of the AI Trailblazer podcast. Today we have a very exciting guest. She is none other than Jess, the co-founder and CEO at Mavic AI. So Jess, it's a pleasure to have you here with us on the show today. Let's start off with yourself. What's your background and what led you to start Mavic AI?
Thanks, Bruce. So as you mentioned, I'm Jess, and I'm actually founder and CEO of Mavic. So a bit about my background. If you look at my LinkedIn, it says I'm a marketer, and I'm a marketer by trade. But I think at the below, like underneath of that, I'm also an artist. So I grew up being a musician. My father is a musician, and you can see him basking even today, like along if you're in Singapore, along Esplanade and MBS. So I think that creative and expressive side has always been very innate within me. And I've brought that with me throughout my career as a marketer. But when I entered the industry, I realized that um, beyond just, creating things like videos or photographs or copy with marketing, we were living in an era where there's a lot of interactive technology. So if you can understand how to make, for example, AR filter, augmented reality, virtual reality, if you can create permutations or create very interesting interactive experiences, and you're creative by nature, you get to create very unique experiences for people out there. So that's kind of has always been my journey. Always been someone who understands both the creative aspects of storytelling, but also the technical aspects of the medium that the stories need to be told on. And that is also the reason why I went into Mavic, because when ChatGPT came about in 2023, I was still a marketer at that time, and I could see very quickly that the way brands tell story needs to change, because with this amazing technology with such as AI, you can go from having an insight, an idea, to visualizing your entire brand marketing campaign or the entire story you want to tell very, very quickly. And so we've been on the journey since then, since 2023, creating an AI brand marketer called Mavic that can help anyone transform any idea, any insight into something that someone else can see, be it a text, blog post, or a visual image, or and soon a video as well.
Yeah, that is a very interesting journey from how you started in art and creative storytelling to now merging both of these elements, I presume, in Mavic AI. So let's talk a bit more about the company. What kind of problem is it trying to solve for what target audience?
Yeah, so as you as we already spoke about, we are in the marketing space, and marketing is a department that's always been seen as, having not enough people, not enough time, not enough money or resources to effectively achieve the business objectives. And that is more apparent in smaller businesses, but it exists be the size of the business, right? So I've worked in agencies where I had to manage multiple brands, and I've also worked in MNCs such as Johnson and Johnson. And that problem of not having enough resources and not having enough time always exists. So that's why Mavic is created. Mavic helps to give back time to the marketeer by doing some heavy lifting when it comes to professional level marketing. So when anyone starts a brand workspace in Mavic, so Mavic will start to do analysis on what the business idea or the brand is about, create strategies, even help you do competitor analysis, customer analysis, use all that information to come up with a plan and a strategy for brand building and marketing. And it doesn't stop there. So we create all the ideas and we want to make it super actionable. So we will transform the ideas that Mavic creates into real social media posts and blog posts. And through Mavic, you can also directly schedule and publish all the content. So the content directly reaches your customers. We will track the real-time performance of how the posts are performing. We even track it down to the hour. So imagine you just publish something on Facebook or Instagram. We will be able to track for the first 72 hours how's the engagement and how does it grow. Because the faster it grows, the more engaging your content is, and that's going to be very useful for you to actually make more content like that. Mavic goes all the way end to end. It's like an exoskeleton to the marketeer, and regardless of the company size.
Got it. Interesting. Then, how would you say Mavic differentiates itself from potentially other AI marketing tools out there? Because I'm sure there are a lot now. What is its
It's,
unique value proposition? And what's the long term
yeah,
mission that you want to achieve with it?
yeah, that's a great question. So, so to answer that, I'll just say that um, a lot of when before I started Mavic, I started playing with and testing out a lot of AI marketing tools myself, and I realized that when using the AI marketing tools, I needed for it to be effective, I needed to be very clear on what I have in mind, right? So I need to be very clear in the prompt, in the articulation of what I want to create, and then the AI tool can do that. So when I started to think about, but is this the real problem that we are fixing? The answer is no. Majority of the time, the marketer takes, right, is in figuring out what to do. So Mavic's unique proposition is it works with the marketer to figure out what to do. So even the marketer has a half big idea, right? Or maybe like one random insight. So Mavic can work with the person using it to create then potential things that you can do through Mavic. Like it could be a video script, it could be an image post. And then Mavic will also write the prompt that's on brand to create the actual image post or the blog post, etc. So that's really the biggest differentiator is self prompts.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then let's talk a bit about your role within the company and then how does that fit into the bigger picture at Mavic AI?
So I am the founder. So I came up with the idea before starting the company. And I guess I'm the one who brings everyone together to fulfill this very big vision. As the founder and CEO, I think I wear two different hats. The first hat is really on the product, right? So to be able to visualize what the product needs to deliver in terms of the features, the quality to the end user, as well as the user experience, that's one big part of my role to be able to um, look at what's the output and then kind of engineer the process and work with developers to achieve that. From a as the CEO, I think the role is to make Mavic known, which is why I'm also on this podcast. To be able to bring our design philosophy, product philosophy out there, to be able to work very closely with businesses, whether they are the end like in agencies or in small businesses, and to help them see the value of that. Because in reality, right now there are a lot of tools, a lot of competition, and to be honest, a lot of confusion. So being able to get credibility and trust from the users we have to get them to be on the journey of Mavic and co-build the next phase with us is also quite important.
Got it. Okay, so you mentioned things about brand awareness, building trust with the users. Now let's talk a bit about your goals for Mavic. Where do you want it to be, let's say, within the next 6 to 12 months?
Hmm. So I am sitting in Singapore right now. So in the next 6 to 12 months, the first phase is really to be known in Singapore, especially by the people and the businesses who need Mavic the most, which is time-strapped business owners or time-strapped marketeers. So my first stretch focus is to create a lot of awareness within the Singapore market. And beyond that, because we are a global SaaS platform, US is actually one of our biggest market. So that's the longer term vision to be a business that operates out of Asia but can service global markets such as US, UK, and so on.
Got it. Then, what would you say have been the strategies that you leverage on in order to drive expansion into, either deeper into the Singapore market or abroad into the US market?
Mm. So, as a SaaS platform, typically we have the digital marketing channels, um, like social media marketing or Google search, or getting listed on different product sites, having product hunt or launching on these kind of platforms. But I think the way to cut through the clutter, because every SaaS is going to be doing that, would be to focus very clearly on a specific market and be able to articulate clearly how an AI solution can solve their needs. So, for example, how an AI marketing tool will solve the needs for an agency, a social media agency, would be very different from how an AI marketing tool can solve the challenge for, say, for example, someone doing e-commerce. So, part of our GTM follows a very standardized, go-to-market that every SaaS company will have. But the additional focus we have will be that vertical focus and communication and being able to drive real value through that. So, in fact, as a marketer myself, right, I think that even if a business owner can get value on how they can think of using any AI solution to improve their marketing, to improve business effectiveness, even beyond Mavic, that would be a win for us because that's why we are in this industry, right? We are one of the AI solutions. We may not be the best fit for all, but we definitely know that there's a need for anyone to get the results or to get the good benefits from using AI. So we want to just contribute that way.
Got it. So you've shared like a couple of different channels that you use, be it on social media or even on the SaaS product review websites like Product Hunt. So what would you say have been the channels that have worked really well for driving awareness to Mavic, and then what are some that hasn't really performed as well as you expected?
Um, so I think the product listing sites or when we are so so just for a bit of context, we launched Mavic after just 3 months of coding. So it was very fast to, and we wanted to get real feedback on what people would use Mavic for and how they react to the features and to our vision. So at that stage, one of the key channels that work really well for us is a platform like AppSumo, where people naturally on AppSumo are very, they're the tech savvy people, they're innovators, they're on the lookout to try new things. So that really helped us in terms of getting massive like stress testing the features, stress testing the value creation to them. So I think that channel worked very well. By comparison, around the same time, I did run some Google ads, but we saw a lot of high clicks, but not a lot of conversions. And my guess is because people always defer and default back to ChatGPT or Claude because that's the one that's free for all. If they don't really understand AI and how to even use ChatGPT, it's hard for them to visualize, right? How the AI marketing tool can support them. This year, I think things are changing a little bit, and that's a result of the awareness of ChatGPT, right? Like today, I can ask my family members who are like above 60-year-old, and they know what's ChatGPT already. So this year is more about helping using channels to help to find users who doesn't want to do a lot of exploration, who needs a tool that they can trust. So, going back to the earlier question, where's our go to market? I think being Singapore, even being able to work with partners on education, on training, will create that trust really, really fast. And that has worked very well for us. So, recently there's been a few events where we got a chance to go and talk about how AI can help marketing. And along together with the training, we do talk about Mavic, and that has increased a lot of credibility for Mavic as well. So yeah, this is just like a very growth hackish strategy, but of course we can expand it with paid media.
Yeah, makes sense. And I presume it's also a really cost-effective strategy as well. It doesn't take up a lot of capital, but then still drives that awareness. Yeah, and I wanted to circle back on a point you made earlier that to drive brand awareness successfully, it also requires like reaching out to the right target audience with the right messaging, right? So could you share more about what is your specific target audience? Is it just any kind of SMEs that has a marketing team, or is there any specific company size or industries that you focus on?
Mm. So right now we are focusing on SMEs and in the F&B space, retail space, and B2B SaaS space. So those are on the verticals. And on the functional side, we are also focusing on marketers that specialize in social media marketing. So these are the main focuses we have. In terms of company sizes, we are looking for companies who do not have a very large marketing team with very sophisticated marketeers. So basically, like imagine your mid-size SME who can hire maybe one, max two marketeers, and they have so much to do. They don't have enough time to learn every single. Like they won't have enough time to learn like an N8N, workflow, even if that could potentially help drive like maximum effectiveness. So we are a very good entry point for them because they can kind of achieve that, but with just like text and clicks of a button.
Yeah, right. So it empowers them to do their job much more productively as well. So now I wanted to touch on some of the challenges that you have faced while growing Mavic so far. What are the biggest ones that stand out to you?
Well, I mean, like every day there's a new AI tool. So there's a lot of competition out there. Recently, someone said that they could develop the entire, like they could vibe code the entire Lovable app, right, in like 9 minutes. So that has been also circulating around. So when there's a lot of AI tools coming up, like even Gamma, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of Gamma AI. If you go and
PowerPoint
search
creator.
now, yeah, the PowerPoint creator, and then on Google today there are so many different types of variations because I'm sure some people have just ripped off and trying to use the same name. So when there's so much competition, there's actually a lot of confusion as well. So from the customer side, they're like, oh, do I invest in this or do I learn this? Do I subscribe to this or that? It's not even about subscribing on a monthly or annual basis. I don't think it's about the money. It's about the time and the mental load it takes for the user to learn this new tool. Because everything that's new requires learning. So I think that has been a challenge to be able to help someone with not enough time, especially in marketing, super confused by all the AI tools out there, be able to get started with Mavic as soon as possible and start seeing something that is beneficial to their business or to their work. Which is why we actually focus on UX a lot. I think from day one, we've always spoken about how we want to be the easiest way for someone to start marketing. So the UX is very important, making sure that the interface of Mavic follows the mental models of other tools that are gaining popularity like ChatGPT, but also making sure that there are enough guided workflows using very simple language, actionable, action-oriented language, so that someone can just very easily go in and fill in like a form and then get something that they want. So so I think that has been the challenge, the competition, the confusion that's happening in AI space. And with every single day, we are always asking ourselves, if we want to introduce a new feature, how is this going to be used by the user in a way that's very easy to understand? Yeah. So it's a constant challenge.
I see. So one of the ways you've been trying to overcome this challenge is just through designing a more intuitive product, is it? Like you said earlier, with the UX and the mapping of the workflow to make it easier for the users to be a
Yeah.
customer to your product. Okay.
Yes.
Any
In
other
fact,
strategies that go ahead?
sorry, just on that, right? In fact, I think UX is like super important for AI tools because AI sounds and speaks like a human. So it's a great unlike previous types of MarTech solutions or SaaS tools, AI has the opportunity to complement the functions and the existing workflows very easily. So all of that is UX, and that's kind of what we focus on.
Yeah, so I was asking as well, like, were there any other sort of strategies that you've been using to try and stand out from all of from the noise out there?
Mm, I think the other strategy we use to stand out from competition would be um this is more like a brand marketing strategy, but you will see that the way we communicate the value proposition of Mavic, we do tend to avoid things like harping too much on features. We do not say too much about, oh, we have this AI model or that like the things you can do, but rather we always communicate from the perspective of how you can use this to get the actual outcome that you want, which is you want more consistent social media posting, you want on brand content, you want content that is well thought through, well orchestrated. You want searchable content on Instagram and through AIO. So that's kind of our strategy to be differentiated. It's more like a brand communication side. And then it aligns into our UX as well.
Got it. So I think you have shared a couple of different points for the business right now, from the market expansion to raising brand awareness and standing out from the crowd, as well as on the UX side of things. So what would you say is the biggest priority right now for Mavic for, let's say the next 6 to 12 months, that if you really double down on it will drive the most amount of growth for the business?
Mm. So I think our biggest priority right now is two parts. The first is working closer with the users that we have today to make sure that we are able to continue giving them value with AI. So we have quite a big pool of active users, and they're very engaged with us. So they always give us new ideas. So and we know that they are like I told you earlier, right? In the innovation curve, they are one of the early adopters, and the way these users continue to use AI systems will become the standards for the mass majority. So being very customer centric and really working with them to deliver the outcomes that they need, and not just like the features or the new API, new language AI models that they want. That's very important. That's something we will always hold as a focus. The second one is, of course, then to go out and get more users like that. Because at this moment, we're quite confident that we've solved majority of the complexity of using a forward thinking AI system like Mavic. So we are quite confident that today we can probably go out on the street and someone can start using Mavic with like 5 minutes. So, it's about getting the name out there. And again, that's why on this podcast, and hopefully you'll see more of Mavic around Singapore and other places. Yes.
Maybe you should do that one day. Just go out to the street and ask people to use
Yeah,
Mavic,
like
see whether they can
Mavic
figure it
on the
out in five
streets.
minutes.
Yeah, Mavic on the streets, and then we can do it. It'll be very interesting, right? If, for example, I'll tell you a real example, right? My father is over 60 years old and he's a busker and he also uses AI. So, I mean, yeah, I'm telling you, people, it's so easy to get started. They just need someone to show them. So, Mavic is the easiest way to get started with marketing.
Right? So he uses Mavic as well to design his own like content, social
I
media
mean,
to advertise his buskering career. Is that
he has to support his daughter.
yeah? Okay, I
Yeah.
see. Yeah,
Yes.
so I like to ask my guests this question, like let's say hypothetically, if you had a magic wand to fix one thing in the business right now that is either holding you back or slowing down your progress to get to your goals, what would that one thing be?
Hmm. If I have to fix one thing, wow, there are so many things that can be fixed. I think if I could fix one thing right now, I would fix the geographic distance between some of the Mavic team members and the ones in Singapore. I think that we are creating something that is really different, is at the intersection of AI and marketing. And our team, while most of us are in Singapore, there are some people who are overseas as well, at which who are really talented and can give very good thoughts. So and can move the project along. And I think that's a reality of the world today, right? For companies, your talent and your team can be anywhere, but there is a lot of inspiration and cross knowledge sharing and ideas that can be sparked and created when everyone is in the same room together. So if I have a magic wand and I can snap my fingers, I'd like the entire team to be together whenever we need, and we can achieve whatever we need from a product perspective.
And you think that's more productive than just like Zoom meetings as well with these team members?
100%, 100%. There is a lot that you can do when people are together, like remote working. You cannot just compartmentalize some of the ideas when you're creating something innovative, right? That has no benchmark or no point of reference. The discussion goes way beyond that 1 hour, 2 hour Zoom meetings. Yeah.
Could you give like more context, like which which part of the world is your team based in right now, other than Singapore, and then which part of the team is it? Is it like the engineering team, the marketing team?
Yeah. So both engineer and marketeers. So there are people in, for example, Dubai, India, Thailand, and then there's a floater like that goes from country to country. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Cool. Yeah, so we are on the last segment of the podcast here. What kind of shifts or trends are you seeing in your industry right now? And then how is that impacting the growth of Mavic AI?
Mm. So we are in the intersection of two different industries. The one is of course AI, and I'm sure there are a lot of shifts happening in the AI space where there are so many new developments happening. Even last night, ChatGPT, GPT-5 was launched, right? But the other section, industry, which we are more focused on, is really in the marketing and advertising space. And if you look at the last 3 years, kind of with AI coming into the picture, we see three changes in the marketing industry. One is on consumer expectation and consumer behavior. So their expectations towards content that's being created with or without AI. Their attitudes towards brands that use AI versus don't use AI. For example, Coca-Cola, they created an AI ad, and consumers are like, no, you shouldn't do that. You need to use real humans. The second thing is the infrastructure is changing as well. Because of AI, things like the algorithm, how algorithm understands what's good content versus what's AI generated content, what would be penalized versus not, has changed. So that is something that we need to keep an eye on. For example, right now we have AIO or an AI optimization on top and above search optimization. So that's also something that we need to make sure that as we are developing our marketing platform, we are creating content that can actually be aligned to these changes. And the third one is with people. I think it's inevitable that with AI, people either want better quality stuff with the same resources, or they want a lot more with the same resources. So the people affected by this are the marketeers that have to provide the service, or the marketeers who have to create these things for the companies that they work for. So how do we make sure that they don't get burnt out? They continue to get inspired with creativity. They continue to create things that are unique and distinctive to the brands that they work with. That's also something that we see. So there's a lot of changes in how marketers have to work, and we need to, like, in terms of digital transformation. So we also need to keep an eye on that. So these are some of the things that I see will affect Mavic, but as long as you always follow the consumer behaviors, the infrastructure changes, then I think we can always solve it as well.
Got it. Yeah, that is pretty insightful. So actually, that is about it for the podcast interview. Jess, once again, thank you for taking the time to jump on this podcast and sharing this valuable insights as to the marketing and how it's getting disrupted by AI. Yep, it's a pleasure to have you here with us on the show today.
Thanks, Bruce. Thanks for inviting me. It's been a pleasure too.